Welcome, beautiful chosen ones, seekers of truth, those awakening to the deeper call within. Whether you feel lost, wandering through shadows of doubt, or just beginning to see the light, you've arrived at a place of refuge. Here, there is no judgment, only understanding. In this space, we honor the journey of your soul, the scars and triumphs alike. You are safe here. The weight you've carried, the confusion, the loneliness, all of it can rest now. You are not alone. Your search for answers, your yearning to connect, is met with love, wisdom, and guidance. This is a space where your light can finally be seen, where your heart can breathe freely. Here, the veil between the spiritual and the physical begins to thin, and together, we will walk towards the truth that has been waiting for you all along. Have you ever wondered why your kindness was repaid with cruelty? Why your generosity seemed to draw in takers and betrayers? You opened your heart, shared your deepest truths, and in return, you were met with envy, with gossip, with undeserved pain. But what if I told you that every trial, every moment of naivety, was a divine lesson preparing you for the battles to come? There's a unique burden the chosen ones carry. We are taught to believe that kindness will be met with kindness. Yet in a world filled with hidden wolves, those pure of heart are often left vulnerable. We gave too much. We trusted too soon. We spoke too freely, unaware that our light could blind those who live in shadows. And in our innocence, we mistook their smiles for safety. But God, in His infinite wisdom, allowed those moments not to break us, but to awaken us. Have you ever looked back on the arguments, the betrayals, the sudden shifts in relationships, and wondered, how did I not see it sooner? You didn't fail. You were meant to learn. Every wound you carry is not a mark of weakness, but a testament to your growth. Those you thought were friends were, in truth, distractions on the path to your divine purpose. You were never meant to stay small. Now as you awaken, you begin to see the traps that were set before you, the whispers of doubt, the silent betrayals. They were all part of the refining process. You are not the same person who once shared too much, who trusted too easily. No, now you are wiser. God has been preparing you, sharpening your spirit for a time when you can stand strong, without fear of those who seek to tear you down. The veil is lifting, and you, chosen one, are rising stronger than ever before. How did it feel to first realize you had enemies, not just people who didn't like you, but those who actively sought to tear you down, even while you offered nothing but kindness and love? It hits you like a cold wave, this realization slowly creeping up as the illusions of friendship and loyalty dissolve. At first there's confusion. How could they betray me? And then the deeper truth settles in. They were never truly for me. The feeling is unlike any other. It's a loneliness that eats at your core. You thought you had allies, but suddenly you're standing on your own. And it's in that moment, when the weight of isolation presses down on your chest, that you ask yourself, what did I do to deserve this? You replay conversations, search for your mistakes, try to find fault within yourself because surely there must be some explanation. But there isn't. Sometimes the only reason you have enemies is because your life threatens their darkness. You didn't ask for it. You didn't invite it. But there it is, unwanted and undeniable. And then comes the silence. That deep, hollow silence when it feels like even God has turned His face away. You pray, but the answers don't come. You seek comfort in the familiar, but it all feels so distant. Alone in your thoughts, surrounded by shadows, you wonder, has God forgotten me? The darkness feels suffocating, and you can't see the way forward. It's as though you've been cast into a pit with no ladder, no rope, nothing but walls of doubt closing in around you. It's unfair, so painfully, frustratingly unfair. You gave everything, your time, your energy, your heart, and in return, you were cast aside like you didn't matter. Meanwhile, those who manipulate, lie, and deceive seem to thrive. They move through life without consequence, enjoying the very things you prayed for. You watch as the wicked prosper, while you, with your heart full of goodness, sit in the depths of struggle. The unfairness of it all weighs on your spirit like a heavy burden you can't shake. You may not see the full extent of their downfall right away, but it's happening. Relationships that once seemed strong are crumbling. Careers are faltering. Health is deteriorating. They thought they could walk away from their actions without a trace, but they are now feeling the weight of every decision they made against you. God is not passive in his protection of his chosen ones. He is actively moving on your behalf, fighting battles you don't even see, setting traps for those who have set traps for you. And now they are walking right into those traps. Do not mistake this for revenge. This is not about us seeking vengeance. We have forgiven. We have released the burden of their attacks. But God sees everything. He knows the full story, and he is balancing the scales in ways only he can. His justice is perfect, and those who have dared to come against his chosen will now feel the full force of it. Their time is running out. No more warnings, no more chances. Their pride has led them to this moment, and now they must face the storm they refuse to see coming. It is too late for mercy. God is a God of love, but he is also a God of war. And when someone declares war on his chosen ones, he fights back with a vengeance no earthly power can withstand. Watch closely, and you will see the signs. The people who plotted against you, who tried to block your progress, who sought to harm you, they are losing their footing. Their plans are falling apart. Their lives are unraveling in ways they never anticipated. This is not random. This is not bad luck. This is divine justice, and it is happening now. For every plot they devised against you, God is turning it back on them tenfold. For every tear you shed, they will experience sorrow. For every obstacle they placed in your path, they will find themselves blocked. They thought they could play with divine law, but now they are facing the full weight of God's justice, and there is no escape. This is the law of the universe, the law of God. Evil cannot stand forever. It must be destroyed. And now your enemies will experience what it means to go against one of God's chosen. This is divine retribution. This is the balancing of the scales. They ignored the warnings, and now they must pay the price. God has spoken. His judgment is sure. The time for mercy has passed, and now the destruction they once planned for you will be their own. The world is full of contradictions. How is it that those who do good often suffer the most? How can those with malice in their hearts walk freely, basking in success, while the ones who carry the light are met with hardship? You see it everywhere. People who have done nothing but offer love, kindness, and truth, yet they're the ones cast into the fire. It's enough to make you question everything, even your faith. You ask yourself if all this suffering is for nothing, if the sacrifices you've made have gone unnoticed by God. It's easy to feel abandoned, forgotten in the grand scheme of things, as if your cries for justice are lost in the wind. But the truth is, the path of the righteous has never been an easy one. Yes, it's unfair. Yes, the darkness can feel overwhelming. But every chosen one must walk through the valley of shadows before they rise. This is not a punishment. It's a process, a refining. And though it feels like God has forgotten you, he is closer than you think. He is watching, guiding you even in the silence, allowing you to see the world for what it is, so that when you emerge, you'll no longer be deceived. There will always be injustice in the world. Those who live for themselves will enjoy their brief moment in the sun, but it's fleeting. They have no roots, no foundation. But you, despite the unfairness, despite the pain, are being prepared for something far greater. This is not the end of your story. The darkness will pass, and when it does, you'll rise stronger, wiser, and more connected to God than ever before. Keep walking. The light is still within you, even if you can't see it yet. God has spoken time and time again, warning those who dared to come against you. But their arrogance blinded them, convincing them that they could escape his warnings, that somehow they were above his law. Now they must face the consequences of their actions. This isn't about us seeking revenge. It's about divine justice. Evil can only thrive for so long before the weight of its own darkness crushes it. And now the time has come for those who have wronged you to pay the price. God gave them every chance to turn back, to leave you alone, to repent for their schemes against his chosen, but instead they hardened their hearts. They ignored the whispers of warning in their spirits. the signs he placed in their path, the people who cautioned them to stop. Each time they plotted against you, they were not just attacking you. They were attacking the divine purpose that God placed within you. They thought they could outsmart the creator of the universe, that their plans were clever enough to bypass his protection. How foolish they were. But now the scales are tipping. The very schemes they devised against you are turning back on them, unraveling their lives in ways they never expected. Their time is up. No more mercy. They chose this path, and now they must walk it alone, facing the divine consequences of their defiance. You, as one of the chosen ones, have always known there was something different about you. The trials, the spiritual battles, the enemies that seemed to spring up from nowhere. It was never just bad luck or coincidence. It was always spiritual warfare raging around you because you were marked for something greater. God placed his hand on you, and because of that, you've been targeted by those aligned with darkness. But here's the truth they fail to understand. You are not alone in this battle. You never were. God has been fighting for you every step of the way. He warned your enemies over and over to leave you alone, through dreams, through strange encounters, through moments of hesitation. He gave them chance after chance to stop their attacks, but they didn't listen. Their pride convinced them that they were untouchable, that they could continue plotting against you without facing any repercussions. Now they will see just how wrong they were. The universe operates on divine laws, laws that cannot be broken or manipulated. And one of those laws is this: what is done in darkness will be brought to light, and every act of evil will be met with justice. God's patience has limits, and while he is slow to anger, once his wrath is kindled, it is unstoppable. Your enemies are now standing on the brink of that divine wrath, and there is no escape. This is not a matter of karma. It's divine justice unfolding before your eyes. What they sowed in secret is now being reaped in public, and the consequences will be severe. God's vengeance is not like human anger. It is precise, calculated, and righteous. He knows exactly what they've done. Every plot, every scheme, every word spoken against you in darkness. And now their pride and arrogance are leading them into a downfall they cannot reverse.